Derealization, a mental state where you feel detached from your surroundings. People and objects around you may even seem unreal or alien. One of the greatest mysteries in life is inside us. Consciousness and our sense of self are both something that we understand extremely little about. What I'm going through right now is one of the most confusing things I've ever had to grapple with. I don't feel like me. Things don't feel real, and life feels utterly complete. In the last episode, I told the story of experiencing my first ever zazenkai. From 5 a.m. until 5 p.m., I sat on a meditation cushion with my eyes open, staring at a white wall in zazen. The entirety of the day was this. I meditated for 10 hours and had the most intense experience of my life. I went from not being able to meditate for 10 minutes to staying in a deep meditative state for 2 hours. I began to feel the effects of decentralizing in a way that I've never felt before. I found myself confronted with the sterileness of existence, a form I see as complete. I'd once aimed for completeness, but I had no idea it would feel this silent. I'm removed in a way that alienates more than it unites. Time is stretching her arms incredibly far. The leaves move slowly in the yard. Ink takes time to settle. He can't discern if he's more or less awake. In a way, perfectly still. This is what I journaled the day after the zazenkai. All of this comes from something called decentralization. To decentralize is to remove you from the center of your awareness, to lose the idea that everything must pertain to you. It's like watching a movie. Something horrible or great can happen to a character, and you react when something happens, but not at all how you would react if it happened to you. In a way, you feel what the character feels, but you're removed from the circumstance, so you sympathize and you relate to the character. If you can decentralize, you can relate to your circumstance instead of being in the thick of it, where you don't even have room to think. It's losing your sense of you, something that I've experienced twice in my life through meditating, and it really was only positive. I felt at a distance from every situation. It eradicated my anxiety, literally ended my anxiety, and I can't explain how much that changed my life. This happens through forms of meditation where your entire brain can focus on something beyond your sense of self, most commonly your breath or your senses, because they have a natural inclination towards expanding. Now, the second part to explain derealization, the most mind-blowing part, is what's called nonjudgment. The idea of not seeing anything as only good or bad. Concentrated shamatha meditation let me feel decentralization, but non-judgment, that is something I have never experienced until this week. For 10 hours, I stared at a wall. By hour 4, you have to surrender to the experience. You would go insane if you had any agitation at all. So by the end of the day, I was experiencing reality without labels. Nothing was good, nothing was bad. Feelings and reactions were purely brought by circumstance. The next day, I took a cold shower. Normally, getting ready for the freezing cold water, I look like this or something. But on that day, I stood under the water like this. Without even thinking, I turned the cold water directly onto my face. It sent this ripple of endorphins straight down my spine. It made me extremely happy, but only because there was no processing involved. Emotions arise naturally through the organic processes in our body. And when there's no longer a dictator who assumes certain things are good or bad, the underlying organism is set free. And this all sounds positive, and you know what? It was, until it kept getting more intense. Each day I meditated for hours, sometimes with huge smiles on my face, no matter how creepy that sounds. Just feeling like this ground state of reality was the most beautiful, Elysian, Edenian thing I'd ever seen. But in post-meditation, I'd look out my window. I had this thought that sent this shiver throughout my body. I realized that everything felt complete. Like the rest of my life was a series of alternating circumstances, breeding a variation of emotions, but none of which were any better than the last. And, above all else, it was all leading towards nothing. Any form of success, redundant. I was in perfect harmony with reality, and I couldn't figure out why this idea that everything was complete all of a sudden, that I didn't need anything else, was concerning. I could feel my heart beating really fast, and that was when things started to spiral. Is this nervousness? Is my anxiety back? Why the hell is my heart beating out of my chest? I felt so removed from myself that I was starting to stare at my body thinking, why are you so nervous? The rest of the day I didn't do anything. As time progressed, I felt less like I was relating to my environment and more like I was an alien in it. I had an overwhelming feeling like nothing was real. I was walking down the street and I heard all these cars honking at each other and yelling, and I just thought, why do they care so much? This is literally all fake. I hung out with someone for a long time that night, and the whole time I was just trying to make sense of the adamant idea that this wasn't real. I'd felt like I had no connection to my body, and every now and then my heart would start beating as if it had a mind of its own. It's as if today is my last day on earth, and my mind knows it, but my body doesn't. The perpetuation of circumstance is a seed, carrying the genetic potential to be anything. The processes of the mind are included in this state of undefinability. Now I understand. The equalness of this is what's terrifying. To use Thoreau's word, the spectator is now unbiased. Reality is complete, so emotions, experiences, and ideas arise through rearrangement and no longer to fill space. Without a decided ranking of stimuli and circumstance, nothing contains preordained influence over the whole of the process. I feel different, and this could be why. So I wrote that 1 week ago, and you're probably wondering, how do I feel now? I feel good. Nothing feels fake anymore, and that is such an unbelievable difference. Feeling my anxiety return, feeling like a literal alien, and looking at life as complete at 19 was really scary. But I think that it was an important experience for me to have.
You guys are just so honestly brave for doing this, and I always want to put on the website really not for beginners. Zazenkai is harder than doing a 7-day meditation retreat. For myself, when I hear someone speak about their experience, it really can enliven something in me. You can really kind of feel each other's truth, I think. Some of these experiences are just, they really are our nature, I think. So when someone else speaks to that, you can really feel your whole being kind of come alive with another person's experience. So thank you for that.
There is an entirely new reality that's out there, and it's such an amazing adventure discovering it when I feel like I'm this young. I am in a good place now, and I'm on a new journey with meditation too. Since that zazenkai, I've done 4 more zazenkais, plus a week-long meditation retreat. Meditation is now a part of my life in a really healthy way, and I wouldn't want anything to change.
This is such a part of our tradition, right? People having experiences where they let go of their ordinary way of understanding the world. That is a foundational part of Zen. And it's really important to work with a community and to have a teacher you can talk to, because people experience that in all kinds of ways. Sometimes it's blissful, sometimes it's disorienting. It's a fundamental aspect of our training that we're reorienting to the world and integrating with the world in a different way. There are all these ways that we sort of need to operate in the world, and our meditation can disrupt all of that. And we think that's really valuable and really important.
Thank you for watching. It's such an incredible feeling to watch this channel grow. We passed 25,000 subscribers, which is unreal. 25,000 people a part of this channel. The Siriani method has over 500,000 views. This channel is all I've ever wanted for the last 2 years of my life. To read the hundreds of positive comments and see 99% and 100% like ratios is incredible. I can't wait to grow State of Mind with all of you. There's a lot of new episodes coming out, so subscribe and like this video and be a part of the journey. I'll see you in the next episode.